Welcome to Chapter 10 of Cinderella, not Fairy Tale, Fairy Tale Curses. Yeah, that's the new game's name. It's Rosa Hart. Just look at all those men you cannot save. All these men dying before your eyes. Charles, we have to get away from here. How many people have you really saved? In the game trend of things, you have no talent. This is why you solely help from a witch. Those voices oddly calm, and I feel some print in the air. It's difficult from normal. And I plunge the sword through another. Catching him to lose his sword. The sword spun across the floor, glowing under the moonlight. I look at Darren as Charles and realize that the magic is already working its way into him. He does not see anyone except for Mythal, who is still smiling at him from being all of the knights. I slowly inch backwards, making a show of looking at Charles. Neither Mythal nor Charles seem to see me. I will protect you, Charles. I will do whatever it takes, even if it has to kill someone. I plunge the sword from the ground and grasp it at the hilt. I feel it heavy in my hand, but I ignore the weight. I rush down the hall with the sword, waving my way to the side so that I am out of the way for the knights to fight each other. I look squinting at Mythal, and then surely Charles' eye flicks to me. Only moments, but enough for me to know that he is no longer at Mythal's in a daze. I turn back and see Charles rubbing his hands across his eyes. Mythal snaps his fingers, and two of the knights turn and rush towards me. The knights manage to back me into a corner. I hold the blade out as bear down on me and close my eyes. My hands shake the hit, but I stand ready for the blow, but it does not come. Moments before the knights rest their swords, I am aware of breath, my cheeks, and beautiful eyes staring on. Rose? Oh dear. But the words end up gasping as my blade blurring into Charles' chest. Batted. Oh. Ouch. His words fade as my eyes slide down on either side of me. He stumbles and his head falls back on my shoulder. Oops. No. What did I do? Charles. A sound escapes my throat as I fall myself, leaving Charles' body. Charles? I scream his name as he looks up, but his eyes do not see me. They are somewhere far away. Mythal pulls Charles' body down to the ground, where it falls with a terrible thunk. Incredible. I am deaf to Mythal's words, and I slump down beside Charles. My hands reach for his. His eyes are still open, but the light is gone. No. My tears stream down my face. I cannot breathe. I cannot hear my heart. Everything questioning and dark. Charles! Now that the urn is gone, you have nothing left, Princess. Mythal's hands reach for me, and I tip to lift the sword, but he knocks it out of my hands easily. Are you truly the Queen's daughter? The Queen never cried. She was a strong woman, I knew. I cannot breathe and cannot shift the sob escaping my throat. She taught me that syphilis was nothing to value. That is would only make you weak. You know that too, Princess. But I was wrong. It will be a good thing when the Queen is back on the throne. The weak do not win. He snaps his finger and the witches runs around me. Now, we shall use you to bait the fairies, and then everyone else will fall. I will untie this effect at its heart. He nudged Charles' body. I look down at Charles' ashes face and sobbed. I let the tears gather in my eyes until I could not see anything. Nothing matters anymore. Oops. Oops. Man. Oops. We got 2 achievements there, because 1, we've got all the bad endings, and we got the bad ending with Rumple. So we went over here. Forward. Yes. Alright. I think walking towards him was the right answer before. I don't remember. We'll find out soon enough. The second option shows up or not. Yeah. That wasn't it. Alright. Load. Over here. Yes. Turn and walk away. I just remembered that I have something to do. I turn around to walk away, but I am immediately stopped when I feel Rumple's hand on my shoulder. I slap his hand away. Yes. Feisty as always, you remind me of a rose with thorns, Princess. He leans closer and winks at me. But the thorns are what makes the rose so elegant. Are you always so pernicious, or do you actually want to slap you again? Your slap me is but a small friend in the road. I will never give up on you, Princess. Does he enjoy it when I try to ignore him? The most freckling gems are burned deep with the ground, and that much effort to breathe. What? Princess, you are like one of those gems. No, I am not like a gem. Yes, I am. Forward. March. Slap him? Let go of me. Rumple's eyes curtain with worry as he holds tight to my hand. The sadness in his eyes becomes thin, and I see some like fear dancing in his eyes. You really think it was my fault? The looks in his eyes are foam, almost sad, like he is looking through me. It is as if he is some kind of trance. The way he looks at makes me my skin crawl. He grabs my hand tight, making me shudder. Rather than slapping his hand away, I reach out my free hand and slap his face. I stare at sunburn on Rumple's face. Did the slap to the face knock him out of the zen trance? He is being even staring than normal, and then of looking in his eyes is scaring me. Mom stares at me for a few moments, blinks slowly. Oh, no, I blanked out. I'm sorry, Princess. What happened to him? The way he was speaking was so strange, almost like he is some kind of trance, but I don't know how people are. They lie and they put on faces. I'm sorry for spacing out. If I am your space, then I'm sorry. You're apologizing? Rumple puts a hand to his cheek where I slapped him. I think I deserved that. Thank you for getting me out of that, whatever it was. All at once, the sharp smiles back into his cheerful face again. Forward, march! I know this one. You accept the gift. Oh, no? Oops. Oh, I'm wrong. Shouldn't bother it. That one is attempt to flirt. Apologize to Anne. Tell him off. That's what he means. No. Load. Over here. Yes, please. Tell Moth. Why did you have to be direct when you gave me that compliment? I was dramatic? I crossed my arms and pulled Rumple's grin at me. I can't not help it, Princess. I am dramatic by nature. A compliment is, in a way, a performance. So you did not mean what you said. No, I did. I swear I did. I was trying to show you how making a person happy could be a good deed. Compliments a person on appearance is easier than complimenting them on their done. You have to know a person for that. I mean what I said, Princess, and I swear that it wasn't just me trying to waste 7 words together. Earlier I bet you made Alice happy too. Yes. I know it's stop walking. I know that one. Let's save. Go to Rumple's room. Okay. Defend Rumple. I am still his partner. Yes, forward. Interrupt the conversation. It was recess. Because I didn't want to upset him, and that was the right one. I think it was talk. Or maybe it wasn't. Remain silent. My problems, why would he want to know about my problems? I understand what it is like to be a princess, to have secrets stuck inside of you. To want to keep things to yourself because you worry that someone will prove you wrong. But you can always talk to me about it. Why are you so in my problems? I told you before that the best thing you can do to listen to a person, that's how you learn to sympathize. Besides, I always care about you. I will always listen to you, Princess. Rumple slowly reaches out and rests his head top of mine. Get them out. I'm pretty sure snuggling. I cannot help myself but carry like this. I attempt to move away from him, but my whole body is weak, and it's all I can do is roll out his arm, but even that doesn't work. If you fall, you'll get a bump on your head, you know. I'm not weak. I don't need anyone to take care of me. There are voices and chat beside him that belong to the girls. Rumple speaks in a low voice. Stubborn she may be, but my sweet princess is stronger than any other woman I've ever met. He holds me, pulls me closer, and I feel his chest at my head and his heartbeat. I know you're strong, princess, stronger than else, but because you are strong, I know you need or meant to help. That is why I'm going to help you without your permission. I'm sorry. Slowly I lean myself in his arms. I lean my head to his chest and listen to his heartbeat. It is gentle, sweet sounds that makes me scrape into slumber. So warm. Forward. I think it's look at him. It doesn't look like it. Load. Look at him. Oh, I did it again. I hit the wrong one. I'm sorry. Look away. There he goes again with his confidence. I should be used to them by now, but lately, whenever he compliments me, I cannot stop myself feeling flattered. When I look into his eyes, I can almost feel my reflection in them. Without realizing, I look away from him, feeling my breath stop short before I can breathe again out. Are you sick, Princess? You look flustered. Princess? He moves his finger. He does not, however, step back. I'm still aware of his lips so close to mine, and his eyes which are still looking right at mine. This feeling is different than usual. Could it be that you're embarrassed? He clears his voice and then speaks up again. Yes, I'm embarrassed. Did Lauren compliment me? Yes, say thank you. Leave my room. I step out in a few moments, looking at the bag of the journals. And here I was looking forward to give him these journals. I made myself towards the door and turned the knob and then walked outside. Princess? Before I can even think about saying anything, I feel his warmth on me and I freeze. Once his hand moves to the small of my back where it remains as he smiles down at me. I caught you just in time, my fair sweet. Did you plan on escaping into the dead of night again? Have words abandoned you in a wake of restoration attempt? I have been prayed myself away with a little gasp. I step back and I can see him fully. I nose a bouquet he is carrying. I'm glad to see you here, Princess. I'm sorry I couldn't make it here any faster. Oh, the bouquet. I love you. What a lovely kiss that was, Rumble. I have no more questions. I have asked all of them before. I want to help. Yep. My mouth is being pain. The neck. The skin on the neck is thinner, and you have a lot of blood flowing under the skin, right? To your head. It would most likely be easier to slit or piece some of vein in the neck without running into much resistance. Then raise that eyebrow. Did you happen to pick that up around the clinic? No, I simple guess. Then you have brilliant mind, Princess. Thank you. Well, you gave me the answer last time and I just remembered it. Scream for help. I'm so scared. Not. It's nice to meet you. That one I know. Don't not like mother. Charles, don't listen to him. Just look at all those men you cannot save. All these men dying before your eyes. Charles, we have to get away from here. How many people have you really saved? In grand schemes of things, you have no talent. This is why you sound help with a witch. Mother's voice is oddly calm, and I can feel some a presence in the air different than from normal. A king plunged his sword through another's, tossing, losing his sword. The sword shatters across the floor, gleaming under the moonlight. I looked down at Charles and realized that magic is already working its way into him. He does not see anyone except for Mythal, who is still smiling at him from behind all of the knights. I glanced at the sword, remembering what Charles taught me. Mythal is on guard right now, but I have a better judgment than that. And I told Charles that I was going to stay clear of being taken someone's life. I had a promise to keep. I glanced up at Charles and realized that this was how he looked every time he regarded memory, like he was stuck in his own mind. There is only one thing I can think of snapping out of this trace. I clenched my fist into a fist, and I punched Charles in the face. Ouch! Princess! Gods, my face! Impossible. Charles' eyes clear, and when he looks at me, I can tell he's in, but his eyes are seeing the present. Sorry, I thought I lost you. I suppose that I needed that, didn't I? Charles smiled sharply. It feels and gone by the time we both turned to Mythal again. Charles looked straight past the still fighting knights. If this bothers Charles, which it must, he hides it beneath a negative expression. How did you break the spell? You cannot even use any magic. She didn't break it with magic. She broke it with the power of love. I stared at him, Secretary, but we both know that was not true, and I knew Charles well enough to know that does not mean that. But Mythal looks frustrated. Love? Ha! As if some fairy tale love could save you from this princess. You are a witch. We feed off negativity, off of chaos and love. Loving servants us no power. Life is balance. Rose taught me that. And though I might not be able to uphold a balance of negativity and burn myself, I'm at least going to try. You could try to do the same. Maybe look behind your dim life and start reaching for something that might give you happiness. Something that won't plunge you back into the same darkness. Mythal snaps his fingers and the knights all freeze. They turn to us, swords raised. I do not need to be lectured by some lovesick fool. By all means, cling to your love. I will show you how fragile it is. Witches do not need love. Mythal holds out his hands, and the knights begin their steady march towards us. Charles takes his hand and pulls me back, but I see the opening in the nary. Mythal enjoys the fact pain is his worth, and all I can do is the same. If you do not need love, if you do not need attention, then why are you doing all this for Mother? I am not. You are doing it to be recognized. Why? Every student wants to be impressed by their teacher. His words are calm, but there are din in them. Mother was Mythal's teacher. I have thought that he just revived her as another witch, but... Do you know Mythal's? It's been a long time. We both shared the same teacher. Teacher? Wait. Austin, are you a witch? Yeah. Austin was Mother's student. No, I cannot think about that right now. But I use this to my advantage. I do not remember Mother's students in the least, but one of them turned out right. The other did not, and I can see the bright bitter in you. And the same bitter I held, only yours goes deep. You will not sway me with your foolish words. The kings begin to rush. Their run is more pen shift, given the harm stand they are in. But this does not slow them down. We're going to run, but trust me, Princess, I'll protect you no matter what happens. He grabs my hand, and we wait. I can see Charles' eyes drifting around the search for an opening. I can feel the pulse of his quickly heartbeat through his hands, and I know he is panicking. Suddenly there is a man lunge, golden walls in front of us. The knights stumble right into it. Their swords hit the brazen barrier. Are you two okay? Perfume rushed to the stand in front of us. Mythal's expression is cold, angry glance as he merges the stage with crystal eyes, and then he turns away and begins to drift down the hall. Ugh. Perfume claps to one knee, her arms still outstretched to mend the barrier. Lauren appears. She is flustered and bleeding on one arm, but she still stands up straight. Lauren holds up her hand and summons fire. Put the shield down, Peripheral. I have this. Peripheral raises the shield, and the magic projects shoot out at the knights. The two edge of the knights back through the hall, but I can see Peripheral's glowing weaker and weaker at the moment. Peripheral takes a deep breath, sudden breath, as she tries to stay. When she falls yet again, Charles takes a step forward and looks at her. Late Peripheral. I'm fine, don't fuss. Her breath is loading, but she still managed a smile. I fought in the Great War. This is nothing. She looks at me and Charles. You two need to leave. But you're fine. I'll just need to gather my energy. A spell from Dolores sends the knights falling to the ground after she creates a heavy down of rain, quickly turning into ice. You two keep going. The injury is clear. I noticed the witches had been standing behind Walson appeared. Oh, just now. Dolores stands at the ready. I can tell that she is hiding a great amount of stress behind her smirk. Peripheral slowly gets to her feet. We fight together, DeLorean. There's no one I'd rather fight by my side, I'd Faith. Come on, Princess, shall we? We have an opening. We head around the sides and Peripheral and a shield to protect us from any magic that comes our way, and Dolores summons a wind as direction. Ouch. My foot is gazed by the fire, cries to me soon, but I force myself into a limp spirit regardless. This is nothing. Ooh, I got hurt. At the entry, I pause in the middle of the room. The main entry hall is silent, and then I see Mythal end his way into the Night King's throne room. He is still holding tight to Ems. He knows me watching and smiles. Then he disappears into the throne room. We have to follow him. Princess, he has Ems. Charles protests and shred him, but mine are not. I know Mythal is battling me, but I cannot leave her alone. My gaze moves around the halls as I search for the other knights. The palace is empty, but it's no longer before we hear footsteps. I tense around and Charles holds tight to my hand. And suddenly, as the figure draws near, I recognize him, even if he seems completely live for an older person. I finally found you. Watson? You broke your curse, but how? Charles stares at him in awe. I now dump you, Walson the Big. Yes, he's Walson the Big now. Get on one knee. I now dub you, Watson the Big Knight. There was near a Watson the Small. Watson shakes his head. And I broke my curse unexpectedly. I actually found the item I needed while I was searching around. But I can explain more later. For now, we need to go after Mythal. Do you know where he is? He's in the throne room. Mythal stands in the middle of the empty throne room holding Ems to him. He has his hands around her neck. It's not empty if he's holding Ems. No sun moon, you three, or this girl dies. And I do know how much death bothers you. With a start, I realize he is talking to Walson. All three of us are frozen. Myth. Traitor. Why can't you see that Helen wasn't trying to teach us? She was trying to corrupt us. Silence, traitor. You betrayed her. During the war, you betrayed your own teacher. Betrayed? Helen was corrupted. She cannot be saved. How dare you use her name? Without fingers traced on M's throat, I can see the tears running down her face. Her sob is quiet, but Still in my ears and silent room. Fag. Fag appeared from the darkness as he did before. He smiled at all us from behind with all glam magic. You didn't finish the job. You were awful Fag when you told me to take care of them. You know, most people would assume that means entertaining them and offering them refreshments. Obey me. Fag turns to us. He draws his sword and he used it earlier. His smile fades. I think I see pain in his eyes, but then I think it may be my imagination. He looks fun as he moves towards us. When Watson moves, Mythal's hand tight over M's neck, and she cries out. Charles is watching everything quietly. The corner in his eyes is moved by the sun. I follow the gaze around the room, wondering what he is searching for. Myth. Is it? You are, and your earned you during the Great War. I tended to you once. Stabbed in the stomach. You needed stitches for it. I feel Mythos confused before I can see. Just a few moments, though. His gaze turned on the sun. His eyes found his information. No one came for you. Your teacher must have thought you were too weak. Then you would die. Charles' hands fly away from M's neck, and he lunges towards Charles, snarls. His expression is mad. The room breaks into chaos then. I feel a raised magic beside me as Robert reads a spell and churn in Charles' body as he protects his shield me. At least I can see Fag zip around the room, across the room. Everything goes white. When I look up, I see Watson standing in front of me with a shield. Thal's hand lay fly against the shield, and I can see the heart of his magic. Fag lies on the ground beside his fallen sword, unconscious from the impact of the magic. Even Charles is on his knees. I rush towards the sword. At the moment, Watson pushed Mythal down to the ground. Then the sword in my hand, I stand above Watson and aim his neck. The blade touches his skin without smacking it. Ems is hiding behind the throne, staring out at the scene, with shock and terror on her face. Will you kill me? Mythal smiles, marrying shadows of himself. You saw the soldiers in the clinic today. You saw how close of death they were. Did you see how hollow in their eyes they look? I see so many times. It is a man who clings to deference to life. Even life is precious, and life is still a life. Whether it's villain or not, it's still have to bear. I know how valuable life are because helping so many people. As man is Mythal's eyes now. A man has clinging to death. It would be so easy to slit his throat. I would have seen so much bloodshed on this night, and it was all caused by Mythal. If I killed him, it can all stop, but that would make me no better than Mother. I drop the sword. Mythal actually stops to stare at me in shock. I am not like Mother. I will not kill you for revenge. No sooner have I said those words that I suddenly feel running hard at my chest. I reach and grab the necklace before my necklace. And then there is a bright light. When the light crystal catches my eyes, I stop to stare down my feet, which are glass slippers that shine so brightly they sparkle even in the dim light. But I have no time to take advantage of these shoes, or the weight of that has failed off my shoulder. I barely recognize that the fairy tale curse has been broken, and is raised from the throne and screams, Rose, watch out! Mythal grabs the sword with his hand and turns it around and aiming it at my chest. It hits the barrier. Peripheral stands beside me once more, her face turned of any color. I cannot see her rush in here. She takes a step forward as she shields me. Out of my way. Mythal draws the sword back and plunges it again at the shield. This time the blade is shone with darkness. Pieces are already from the shield, and the Blade goes through Periphel's heart. Periphel grabs the blade nearly, her eyes at Mythal. I'm sorry, and not appreciate you. Some swings inside me. As I stare at Periphel, the sword is impaling her, and I can see her eyes so glance. I cannot speak, cannot breathe. Lawson rushed forward with his magic and pins Mythal fully to the ground. His hands resin, but it never comes down in time. A sword strikes past through his shoulder, right at Mythal's neck. When I turn, it's Charles that is holding it. His body shakes as tears run down his face. Mythal holds his neck as Charles holds up the blade and throws it behind him. Out of the corner of my eye, I catch a moan that can only be fact, but I do not care. Blade Periphel, do not move. I can take the sword out, but I can see a hopeless in Charles' expression. I knew that whatever wound Periphel was in, I can see in his eyes, I can see it in Periphel's. There is a no. No need to fuss. When Periphel falls, Walston grabs her and pulls his head to held of her sword. Charles comes beside her. He shuts the blood stains her dress with sorrow. I started to cry. Rose, no, do not regard this. I am proud of you. The room is quiet. Even when, with a newcomer that arrived, the kings and the Karma watched the scene from the side, all with glad looks on their face. Last to arrive is Dolores, who sits down beside Periphel, with her lips pulling into an uptight frown. Her pen is so straight, but I can tell it's a mask. Periphel. That doesn't suit you, DeLorean. I told you to stay back. Had I not been in there, Princess would have her eyes words fall apart as she begins to cough. Lauren leans down over her and shakes her head. I'm sorry I didn't come sooner. Everything will be fine, DeLorean. Periphel cranes her neck to look up at me. Wipe away your tears, Rose. What you did was good deed. You spared a man's life, but life is not a fairy tale. Humans are good and bad. No, it isn't. But the fear of death makes life even more valuable. Don't worry, Princess. I chose this. Periphel smiles. It's mystery to see her smile when her body is slowly climbing away in Walston's grips. Periphel's body is what gives out first. Her eyes go next. Then remains focused on me, still smiling. Her body begins to glow as her body slowly fades away. Periphel. Lauren turned away. Even if she is not shedding any tears, it is clear that she is heartbroken. She closed her eyes and released a shared sigh. Sweet dreams, my friend. I do not know how long we stay in that room. Mourning the loss of Periphel, Carmel, Jack, and Jill then spread the search of any main danger. At some point, they returned with the Night King and the rest of the family. We are in with the family half-heartedly. I do not know what to say to the people that I hate only months ago. And quiet, they all take me in with open arms. The king stares and is by my side long after the others left. Karma and the knights return to Martian to tell the others the news. Walston goes to search the palace for any remaining resistance. Only Lord Charles, the king, and I remain. Charles cries. I never seen him cry before, but his heart is heartbroken. But his heartbroken is my own. What happened was a nightmare, but eventually it ended. Last night, Fag escaped the throne room. No one saw where he disappeared to. All the chaos. I begin to believe that his fate was a trick. Since that night had left everyone so tired. We offered rooms in the palace. I came to the room with Charles, where the two of us attempt to comfort each other with words. Charles was very shaken. Being the one to kill Mythal, he was in tears for a long time. I'm pretty sure that must have fell asleep sometime when we were talking, but I lay in my bed under my covers, and though I think for a moment that it must be a firm of my imagination, it is not. Charles is definitely laying right next to me, sleeping, breathing through same covers. How? How did this happen? I pull off the pen days at Charles' face. His glasses are off, and without them, his face seems strangely empty. He looks almost like a child, especially his features are too handsome for that. What am I thinking? I slowly put my hands to my cheeks and flush when his eyes crave. Moments later, his eyes open. There are fog this early in the morning. What is this? Have I been woken by my princess? Usually it is the princess that wakes the prince that wakes their princess. I will always wonder how he managed to keep a smile like this. Even when he is in pain, he forces a smile. But you are no prince. I am not some deranged, delicate princess. Charles closed his eyes again and sighed. This is only one way to break the spell of sleep. Oh, fine. I flush as his lips curl and miss his smile. Still eyes do not open. I think about what happened last night. Peripheral Mythal death, Vag escaping, everyone's heartbreak. Before I have to return the burden, I can afford to lose myself in some happiness. I lean forward and kiss his smile. I back away from Charles, startled. Princess? How disturbing. Watson, the big ruins everything. I quickly slip out of bed and Charles sits up, putting his glasses with a yawn. Good morning, Princess, and his eyes widen when he sees Charles. Are you so tired that words have abandoned you, Watson? No, I wanted to see if the princess was doing alright, if you were both alright, actually. He paused to look at us, his eyes found in the thought. Though I can imagine just how tongue-tied you must be, you should speak it if you have something to say. Watson sighs. I didn't want to bring this up so soon, but it may have been on my mind the whole night. It's just, you didn't have to kill Mythal. Myth. That was my job. Your job? I doubt that. Besides, I didn't want to kill him. I was a retreat. The room goes silent. For a few moments, Charles stares down at the floor. He told me before that lives were fallible. This is why I tried to save Myth. But at the end, my sparing his life forced Charles to carry out the burden of his death. Has already told me that it's not my fault. Perfiel said that what I did was good, but still. Killing Mythal saved us more confusion. I hope can Charles of that. Most likely he will wrestle with the guilt for a long time. I turn my attention back to Watson and will the question to back of my mind for the time being. Watson, there are some questions I need to ask you. How about how you broke your curse, about Mother being his teacher, about Mythal. There is so much asked him. I do not know where to start. We have plenty of time for explanations now, Princess. After your birthday, Delora and I will pick up your magic education, but for now you should rest. I will give you the full story of my curse another day. But Princess Charles, Earl, I just let you know that when Perfiel came into the battle, she expected to die. She's told all of us that why we start sitting around trying to plot a reaction plan. I glanced at Charles, who nodded quickly. Was it because of her fate after the Great War, or did Peripheral somehow have a feeling? Oh, also, congratulations on breaking your curse, Princess. Charles sat up, his eyes narrowed beside his glasses. Watson, I was supposed to congratulate her first. Charles stands and kisses me on the cheeks. My cheeks flush. Even Watson looks embarrassed. Congratulations, my sweetie. It was all very dramatic when you broke your curse. That was the bright light and... Wait. Why was there no bright light when I broke my curse? Both Watson and I burst into laughter. Charles sighs dramatically. He leans against my shoulder and I do not protest. I have a feeling that getting through my memories of last night might be easier with him here. If anyone can put a smile on my face, it is Charles. We hope to see you again at the Martian soon, Princess. I will be back. After all, I have friends there. Did I speak falsely? No, of course not. It's the truth. Anyway, I need to get going. I explained what happened to your father, but you should talk with him pretty soon. After everything that has happened last night, speaking to the king is the last thing on my mind, but I suppose it must be done. Thank you, Watson. And you, Charles, might want to ask for a guest room. But no bed is as comfortable as the princess. I nudged him without realizing, but Charles just laughed. We promised Watson that we will see everyone else in the morning, Martian soon. Afterwards, Watson hurries out and shuts the door. My eyes go to the edge of my bed, where some shouldn't curtain my eyes. The glass slipper are remaining everything that happened yesterday. Of the fact that life goes beyond just black and white, good and evil are subjects. It is the inner life, it is Gray's mother. Both good and bad, but even so, even though the fairy tale end cannot escape, I still want to live life with everything else. Mythos created his life around a single person. He was selfish, and I will become someone better than him. Thinking about Mythos makes me remember something. Charles, yesterday you said that you take care of things Mythos during the Great War. There's no one came for him. Was that true? I do not know, Rose. He actually liked it though, wasn't it? So you never knew Mythos? No, I did not know him at all. I don't even have been able to strike him down if I did. I didn't know what burden he carried, but it seemed heavy. I only guessed at what I could say to defend him. I heard rumors of strong when abandoned of many years ago. That many have been him. It may not have been. Sudden escapes in everyone, but not when Mother said it was. My birthday is tomorrow. I sit on the throne room, speaking to my father, who has listened to my tale with patience. When it's over, he looks at me sadly. I owe you an apology, Rose. This whole time you have been on your own. I cannot do a thing for you. You can now, starting first by explaining what happened between you and Mother. You knew she was a witch. I did. You did too, before she forcibly erased your memories. I tried to reach out to you many times when you were a child, but my efforts were met with resistance. Still, I cannot excuse myself for what I have done. I truly abandoned you. I am sorry for that, Rose. I will explain the story to you if you give me time. For now, I would very much like to mend my bonds with you. To be honest, the king still angers me. The only apology is now, after all this has come to light. Whether or not I was difficult to speak, he was still obliged to see me out. He is still late to care, but he's still my father, and I can forgive him. I can learn to trust him again. It will take time, but I would like to mend our bonds. I also would like to try, speaking with Ems and Rod and but that will take time. The king smiles at me. It is one of the first honest smiles I've seen him for in years. We have time, all the time in the world, and we will mend our family bonds, I promise. As I turn to leave the room, the king calls out to me. Rose, I am proud of you, more proud than any other father in the realm could ever be of his child. After what happened, we searched for Frisk, but he has vanished. Mithal and Vag had said that they had replaced him, but they never said about what had happened to him. We searched endlessly, but no avail. All I could do is hope he is safe, and that we'll return him with him again in the future. Oh, Watson's performing today was amazing, don't you agree, Mr. Charles? I agree. You ladies look charming with so many little lilies floating around you. Oh my, he speaks like that. Do not mind him. It has been a whole month since the fin at the palace. My birthday has come along and gone. Now my life begins. I have been practicing magic with Walson and Delory, attempting to bond with my family and visit the marshroom when times allow me. Anna was overjoyed to see me visit often. Since Charles and from there as a doctor, I visit often. Most, though, he's clinging to me like a lamb. Oftentimes I find him in my bed when I could have sworn he was sleeping in another room for the night. Sometimes at night he has nightmares of blood on his hands and of Mithal's death. And those times I am glad to be sitting right beside him so I can promise him that things are alright. As for the fairy tale curse, I have no idea how Rose puts up with you. Rod's voice comes out from his lips. Now he can actually speak. Since the fairy tale curse was tied to Mother's still living soul in the crystal, her disappearance might take her place in me. Curse is the root to found.